a lot of people ask me, like, what is expected out of a software developers, and why is it sort of the most sort out job in the industry, and what you are doing that no one else can do.
Right.
And the one answer to that is problem solving.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another series of podcast. I am Chandan Palwar from Growjunction. I welcome you all to one of insightful computer science focused podcast that is powered by Growjunction. Today we have one of interesting personality with us, Mr. Sourabh Modi, who is of course not Narendra Modi, who is currently serving as a software developer at Amazon. He has completed his BTech in computer science from NIT Raipur in 2019 with an aggregated score of 9.2 out of 10. So definitely he's an acad rock star with among all of us. He's also experienced, a software engineer with a demonstrated history of working as SDE1. So I'm not sure about what exactly is SDE1. So don't ask me the questions regarding, what exactly is this all about. So we're gonna ask Mr. Sourabh directly. And he's also skilled in C, C++, Ruby, Python, and qualities like teamwork and leadership makes his journey to career strong. So now let's welcome on board Mr. Sourabh Modi here with all of us.
Hey everyone, yeah, so thank you for that introduction. I was feeling like I could imagine my LinkedIn profile going from top to bottom. So yeah, that was really good. Thank you. And I think you sort of over exaggerated. I'm not. I'm just a normal guy here sitting in front of my laptop doing stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I am from NIT Raipur. I'm working at Amazon right now. I am a software development engineer, so that's what SDE
Okay.
abbreviates to. And like my job mainly involves on the engineering side of things. So if you have ever heard of Amazon Go, so it's basically a supermarket where there are no cashier counters. So you just go into the supermarket. Just imagine going into a big bazaar, collect everything, put it in your pockets, and just leave out without paying anything, without any human interaction. And that's what Amazon Go is. You just get out, and we sort of use facial recognition and pressure plates and different hardwares to identify what is the user shopping for, what they picked, what they dropped, and everything, and then just send the bill to their mobile devices. So that's my playground. That's what I do at Amazon, and just a spec on a big IT industry.
Wow, that's great. I think, like the terms that you just, used, the face recognition and other terms following. So that was something that we are not used to listen here. So like, can you, just, so as you begin introducing your career. So let's start with this particular question. So what exactly could be the roles and responsibilities of you as a software developer at a company like Amazon? So can you just,
Okay.
once you like put in some terms, so there could be some beginners for our videos. So you can beginners to this line. So you can just if like I request you, if you explain it what how exactly you are trying to frame that terms.
Okay, that is actually good. Okay, so I'll start with what my role basically
Yes.
involves. So uh, look, when we say a software engineer, it involves everything from developing to actually getting it to the customers and to maintaining, right? So let's say you go to Amazon.in, right? And you go in there and you shop for something, you put it into your cart, and then you go to the payment page, and then you pay it, and then it gets delivered to you. Now all of these things are sort of very different. These are managed by very different teams. So when you log in, your ID, password, all the security thing, that is maintained by one different team. Your product pages, what you see, what you get, those recommendations and all those artificial intelligence things. So it basically tracks your behavior, what sort of things you are looking. So you're looking for blue pants, and suddenly Amazon will say that, hey, do you need a white shirt with that? So there's no human interaction in that one. There's all a big sort of a computation engine behind it, which is sort of formulating what are your needs and sort of recommends you things, right? So that is sort of maintained by one different team. and then you go into your payment page. That is like the payment is maintained by different team, the logistic is maintained by different team. So
Okay.
what we see as one single product is sort of a big symposium of a lot of different things working together with each other, right? So when it comes to our job is basically maintaining those small pieces so that the whole system together works in harmony, and this whole product basically comes out to the customer as we see.
Okay. So nice, a really nice explanation. You have explained it really well in a very brief manner. So, moving ahead, one of the question that was arriving in my mind while you were, giving your statements. So, so is it so like under the software development line, under an organization? So, what a company do is basically they create like 10 teams regarding what could be the possible issues and in an interface or an application or a software.
Mhm.
So various teams are being designated, and SD1 is a software development engineer into all of those 10 teams, and they work simultaneously in order to improve the efficiency of the software. So is it so like how exactly it works?
Okay, so once we start looking into these things, we have to see like how the organization structure works.
Yeah.
Now software development engineer is a contributor, I'll say, but there are a lot of different personas who are involved during the whole process. So I'll try to start from the top bottom and
Yeah,
go all
please.
the way down so that everyone like sort of have a feel about what everyone
Absolutely.
is. So first there comes the leadership. Like the leadership are sort of the big guns of the company. They basically they understand what is the need of the market, and they are making the Uber level sort of decisions where they say that, okay, hey, we need to get into the physical retail domain, but we don't want to be the second Walmart, right? We need to do
Yeah.
something differently.
Okay.
Then this sort of thought process flows down the chain, and then comes into the picture the product managers. Now these product managers are basically these are the people who see that, okay, hey, we want a supermarket, we have a customer, and most of the customers say that the biggest pain point is waiting in lines. Just going to a supermarket, we see that, oh, that cashier is faster, this one is slower. We sort of get into that sort of those whole logical mental fight where, okay, we need to go this one, we are two people, one will stand here, one will stand there, right? So all of these different problems with the cashier counter,
Okay.
where this same cash counter structure is going on for like 100 years, ever since the start of supermarket. So that's where the product managers come in, where they identify, okay, hey, this is the thing where we can improve. This is where the sort of the technical prowess of a company can come into picture. Now these product managers, mind you, are from very great technical background. A lot of these are engineers themselves who have gone through management schools, and a lot of them are straight out of engineering schools. So these are people who understand technology, who understand what can be done with technology, and how it can be harnessed to serve the customers in this way. So
Okay.
the product managers basically come up with a thought process that, hey, how about we remove this altogether. Now at the back of their mind, they already know that technologies exist where they can identify a person from their face and from their activity, and right, so they need to know these things so that they can come up with a viable product, right? So that's where the product manager comes in. Now the product manager has a product in his mind. They have the bare bone structures, and they come down to the dev teams. Now a dev team is basically one manager and a few developers.
Okay.
Now manager is sort of the head of this whole the nucleus of this whole atom.
Okay.
Like the manager is basically managing everything. The manager is sort of the orchestrator of this whole symphony, right? So that's where again these managers are highly trained management people, who have been in the industry for a very long time, or who are straight out of these like top B schools, and have experience managing people. Now these product managers and these like the
Software
software development
development.
manager is what, like, that's the designation, SDM.
Okay.
So these SDMs, they basically get in touch and they discuss that, okay, hey, this is a thing that what they want to do, and then they loop in some engineers, and that's when the whole sort of the mind juggling starts, right? That's where all the brainstorming happens. And at that point everyone discusses like, this is how it can happen, this is what we can do. And it's a long process.
Yeah.
For even small products, teams can take even months to just do this brainstorming and sort of come up with the best viable product which can be released in a way, like you don't want to wait for
Definitely. Yes.
years just trying to make the perfect product, but you want to sort of make the best product so that even your brand value isn't sort of hampered. Like you cannot just come out and say that, hey, it's a half baked product and let's just release it. So the product managers and the SDMs, they need to hit a sweet spot where the product is not too complicated. It's not like, it's nowhere perfect, like there's nothing called a perfect product.
Okay.
So they have to hit a sweet spot where it's not sort of very over engineered and not even under engineered. So they sort of hit that spot, and then it comes to the dev teams where all the building and all that process
Okay.
comes, and then it flows back up the chain where this product is sort of seen by different review process takes place and it reaches the customer. So that's how most of the tech companies like Amazon and Microsoft or other companies even work. So like this is the flow, like what most of us do.
Wow, really great. So, like, just to comment in between, like, if you were a professor at some university, so people or the students listening to you, if they just uh, like they just lost their concentration in between, like for 5 to 10 seconds, they must have lost all the parameters of the learning. I believe. So, I'm sure that the audience of this particular video must be listening to like Saurabh so very carefully, because even I'm listening to Sir very carefully. So yeah, it is definitely a great achievement, because having this quality, a great communication skills is almost one of the top priority in the organizations. That's really great, sir. So like I was having, I was developing few of the insights or few of the queries in my mind. So like software developer is another line, and there is also another line that is web developer. So in web developer, basically the digital marketers are responsible to in developing the like website or any web page, or so, or also like in the web developer, what I know about or that domain. So the people who are or the web developers are also responsible for enhancing the user experience. So they work on UX design part and everything. So is it something correlated to web developer?
Okay, so software developer is sort of a
Yes.
very uber level designation.
Okay.
So as a software developer, you do web development as well, you do data analytics as well, you do data science as well, right? So web development is sort of a part or a
Okay.
subgroup of being a software developer. Now coming to the design and all that stuff, so again it's sort of like the previous hierarchy. If I break it a little more, it's like we have separate designers who are very skilled at, they know how many buttons to put in a page, they know what catches a user's attention, right? So those are like highly trained designers who make sure that a lot of pages you will see there are just they try to keep odd number of buttons because that sort of looks gives a more unified view to any user. So these are small things which normal human we cannot even think of, that they put their thought process on and comes up with the design of a web page. There's a separate group of people who will do the sort of, there's a thing called a front end design and a back end design. So front end is basically the front facade, what we see, the buttons, the design, the colors and everything. And then there is the backend developers like me who basically develop the business logic behind it, right? And then there are the digital marketeers. Now digital marketeers, you can think more from the business perspective. So they sort of know what brings your website on a Google search, like that's an example. Now they know that these are the things. They are again highly trained in knowing how to create a search engine optimizations or SEO, what we call them. So they are highly trained in knowing what an SEO is, how your website can get more number of clicks. It's all about clicks these days. So they are what like their main focus is on getting revenues and getting clicks, and they basically suggest the designers that, hey, if we have a blog page, a lot of users will come into our picture for just
Okay.
informations and all that stuff, right? So again, it's sort of all one team passes information to the other, and then they work on it and then passes to the third one. So it sort of flows across that.
Okay. I think that could be a better explanation, definitely, and there could not be, slightly better explanation to this question. So because so I was having this doubt in my mind that like software developer is also somewhat related to digital or a web developer, but it is not so. So
Yes,
software developer is a vast line, and web
right,
development is a component of software development. So very
exactly.
well, very great explanation to that, and I'm sure that as per me and also other people who are seeing this video must be clearing their doubts too. So
I
now I
hope
was
so.
having another doubt, like what if, like, do the software developers required in a companies based out of a software as a service companies, or it is like developers are required in any company? Like, is it the recruitment part is only from the SaaS companies or not?
Okay, so that's actually a very good question, and we sort of fail to realize how like sort of omnipresent software developers have become across all the companies of different sort of regions.
Yeah.
One good example is when we think of Walmart, we think of supermarkets. What we fail to realize is they have a very big, g- extremely great technical arm. They have the Walmart labs in India as well. So like a lot of different areas require these software development as a skill, right? So that's what, like, that's why it is one of the most sort of sought out sort of skill out of engineering, right? So that's what made me took it in the first place. So yeah. So like, it's not exactly software as a service
Okay.
companies who take this, right? So I'll say software as a service. When we say, it's mostly there's a very informal term which we call as service-based companies,
Okay.
which sort of outsource their softwares. Like, there are some great companies, TCS, Accenture, which basically they are building software and sort of exporting it to their other clients.
Okay.
There are companies, product-based companies. Again, that's a very informal term. It's not sort of doesn't make sense, like what is a product-based company. But mostly like, if you leave these SaaS companies out of it, uh, the others who are working on their own sort of products is sort of the product based companies. So like Amazon, we are not building it for any other third party company, we are building it for our own, right?
Okay.
So one such example is the L&T. L&T, now we all think L&T is like sort of construction company, but when you see closely, L&T's IT arm is very vast. It recently opted for, I think it bought out Mindtree. It's one of the leading startups. So that was a big acquisition.
Yeah.
So basically, what I can say is, you think of any company, you put a finger on that, and software developers are required there.
Okay.
Uh, so some or other sort of technical like sort of product they are working on. So yeah, I mean, no one is sort of safe from us.
Okay. Thanks for clearing my doubt in this case. So definitely, like, something, IT is something that is not my cup of tea, and also, not, I think I'm not even capable of having that IT skills. So like, I just really want to know, like, what exactly, like a software engineer or software developer, so what exactly could be the skills that are required to become one? So can you name, like, is it like mandated? So whatever skills that we're naming it, so is it mandatory to have such skills? Without those skills, cannot a software engineer or software developer can survive?
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm saying it for the third time. Very good question. So, uh, actually, a lot of sort of people ask me, like, what is expected out of a software developers, and why is it sort of the most sort out job in the industry, and what you are doing that no one else can do.
Right.
And the one answer to that is problem solving. So forget all the technical skills, forget the languages, forget the C++, Java, the frameworks, everything. Just forget about all of that.
Okay.
If you are a problem solver at heart, that's what a software developer is.
Okay.
uh, like it, like within Amazon, like whenever we intake a candidate, like we usually get 3 to 4 rounds of interview, and the first 2 rounds are just problem solving. We just want to know whether you can solve a problem or not. We
Right.
don't mind what like programming language is just a means, we just want to see if you can sail through the storm or not. Now we
Yeah.
don't care if you do that in a boat, you do that in a jet ski, you do that by
Oh,
swimming. We don't mind the language, the means you have, right?
okay.
So a lot of times it so happens that we ask candidates a sort of problem solving questions, and they are unable to come up with, like, they cannot write a code for that. They're not so technically used to that or sound on that front, but they are able to solve the problem. They had that so beautiful thought process where they
Okay.
are able to see through the problem and just pierce through it and just see what is actually needed, what is the problem, and they have this thought process on how to solve it. And those people actually end up hiring even though they were unable to write a piece of code. So
Wow.
yeah, so like problem solving is at the heart of everything. And once you have that like that skill, learning any language or any sort of these technical jargons, that is like a piece of cake.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think problem solving is something that is required in other domains
exactly.
also. So, like one of the programming language that we all know is Python, and Python is something that not even the software developers, the web developers. So even right now, the domain based like marketing, HR,
Hmm.
so they do also require a little bit like Python knowledge for
Hmm.
analytics part. So what's your opinion in that? Like, do a marketeer or do a HR person or do a finance person in the management days, in his or her management days, like studies days, so do they pursue the Python language for their career ahead?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, one good thing with Python is it's very easy. Like, it's once you see somebody write Python code, and what you'll see is it's just an English paragraph, right?
Okay.
It's so beautiful, it's so easy. Like, learning Python is just a piece of cake. Believe me, like, you don't have to worry about any sort of technical know-hows, how to do. Like, it's sort of very syntax free in many senses. It's very easy, and like, very, the learning curve is very
Okay.
sort of low in that one. Now,
Understood.
I have seen, like, I used to work at a logistics startup before Amazon, and we, like, it was a very nascent level startup, and we used to sort of interact a lot with the marketing people. And like, when it's a startup, everyone is sitting in a single floor, right? So there is no one team sitting in India and
Right.
one in the US. Everyone is sitting in one floor, and we all sort of know each other very well, and we have that sort of close relationship. And I see a lot of people from marketing domain, from product management team, who are actually from management background, but they are actually learning Python and building sort of
Ah,
models on that.
right.
And that too so complicated at sometimes we sort of, like, we as software developers got confused, like, as in, like, do explain it to us, what are you guys doing? So it's something, it's very easy. And once you get a hang of this, sort of, I can bet anyone spend 3 hours every day for 15 days, and you are, like, sort of, Python.
Oh my
There's
God.
nothing after that. Just there's nothing to learn. It's so easy.
Okay.
uh, Only thing you need to make sure is you have that problem solving skill. Once
Okay.
you have the hammer, you need to know how to hit the nail. uh,
Okay.
it's as easy as that. So yes, go for Python. Trust me, it is very useful, and I've seen so many people from non-technical background doing so many amazing things with Python. I'm sure everyone can do it.
Wow, I think that could be a problem solver here. So I'm sure that you are having a problem solving attitude in your personalities. So like moving ahead, considering the time fact and also your time commitments at your company. So the last but not the least thing, how do you see yourself in next 5 years?
Oh, okay, so that question. Okay,
Actually, that
so
question, the basic idea of that question is not for a recruitment purpose, definitely, but for people who are interested in this particular line, can see like what could be the possible future
Mhm.
alternatives or future career things.
Okay, So I think the ultimate aim,
Yeah.
when we say, when somebody says that they want to climb up the corporate ladder,
Right.
we usually think of promotions and pay increments and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What we don't realize is how like however higher you go up the corporate chain, the more holistic view you need to have. Today I'm an individual contributor. I
Yeah.
contribute at a very individual level, right? Once I become an SDM, I'll have to sort of know the whole team's work and sort of create that whole that against the symphony among different
Definitely.
people, right? Now as you start climbing up and up, you need to have more and more holistic view. So at this point, my aim is to know more about like knowing the product is where I came into this product based company, right? So I joined my earlier startup because I wanted to know about the product. I joined Amazon because the product is very fascinating to me, right? So I'm a products guy. I want to know what the product is, how it works, what was the thought process behind doing
Okay.
that and all that stuff. And so for me, 5 years ahead, I see myself being more involved in knowing how the business actually sees the product, how it works, how we can make the impact of the product on the business and on the customers. Like, both has to be sort of balanced. We cannot say
Right.
the product goes good with customers but not good with business, and or the other way around, right? So somehow Amazon, the good thing is they have been consistently hitting this sort of balance between having a good business model and satisfying the customers.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's where I feel that I aim to be. Like, I want to be as much as involved with a lot of different things and know like whatever I can about the product. So that's my dream. Just know a lot about the products, move on to a new product, and just explore different things. So that's me.
That's really great. I think having a set clarity in mind regarding like even the promotions part, even the money hike part, even your interest into product or any service or any other kind of things. I think the clarity in mind is somewhat that makes a person increase the speed of how exactly they are going to reach the success in the future. So definitely you're on a right space and right line, and I hope you and I wish you you're the best in career. And thank you so much for getting on board with us. The Growjunction platform is integrated platform for working professionals like you that could be the mentors to the possible best and the bestest students. So thank you so much, sir, for getting on board with us and also mentoring to the audience, to the hundreds of audience for all of this.
Thank you, Jana. It was like really nice talking to you, and I hope this helps a few people at least.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Bye.